More breaking news that we are getting in on actor Sanjay Dutt. Well, he's moved the Supreme Court for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. Well, this is the latest bit of breaking news that we are tracking in. Sanjay Dutt hunts for relief. Of course, there was a huge controversy. The divide was pretty much there over people who supported Sanjay Dutt's plea and the others who did not. But the latest that we are getting in is that Sanjay Dutt has moved Supreme Court for relief in 1993 Mumbai blast case. This interestingly also comes at a time when Sanjay Dutt had gone on record and said that he will not plead for a lighter sentence or to get away. He will serve his sentence, and now it does seem that Sanjay Dutt, looking for relief clearly, he has moved the Supreme Court for relief in 1993 Mumbai blast case. Sanjay Dutt was, of course, his date to surrender. He was given 30 days to surrender by the Supreme Court. It's bound to end in the next couple of days, but now Sanjay Dutt seems to have moved the Supreme Court for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. Breaking this news on headlines today is my colleague Arthur Khan, our associate editor, getting us the very latest. Arthur, get us up to speed with this breaking news.
Well, Preeti, this is a petition which has been filed with the Supreme Court, and apparently the grounds are more or less same of Sanjay Dutt and Zaibunnisa. Both of them have approached Supreme Court saying that they need some more time to surrender. The reason being that their clemency petition is pending with the President. Remember, Justice Kazi had taken up their matter in the past, and now on these grounds they have come to Supreme Court saying that the time should be given. So Supreme Court has given an assurance to Zaibunnisa that a petition will be heard tomorrow.
You know, Arthur, all of this also coming in after a point of time when Sanjay Dutt, in front of full media glare, had broken down. These are the visuals that we are showing, where he said that he will not plead for a lighter sentence. He will go and serve his sentence.
Well, that's right. This is surprising in a way that there's a sudden change in his attitude, and now maybe with the help of legal counsel and the inspiration perhaps they got from Justice Kazi's taking up the issue, they have now approached Supreme Court. But it needs to be seen what stand the court is going to take when it comes up for hearing tomorrow.
What are the legal options in any case, Arthur, at this point of time? They are rather limited where Sanjay Dutt is concerned.
Well, that's right. A judgment has already been given, and now the judgment is already there, and the time has the Supreme Court has asked them to surrender. But then is a new petition along with Zaibunnisa gives a new dimension to this issue altogether. Justice Kazi had also said that he'll approach the governor and the president on various grounds, and apparently getting inspiration from there. Now they have moved the Supreme Court with a new new issue, saying that they must be given some time before surrendering.
All right. So do stay on with us, Arthur. This is the latest bit of breaking news that we are getting in at this point of time. Sanjay Dutt has moved the Supreme Court for relief in 1993 Mumbai blast case. This after the Supreme Court had sentenced Sanjay Dutt to 5 years imprisonment. And since he had already completed his jail tenure of 1.5 years, now he has to face a jail term of 3.5 years. The court had given Sanjay Dutt 1 month of time to surrender, and there are only days left, just 2 to 3 days left, where Sanjay Dutt has to surrender. And now, of course, he has moved the Supreme Court. 18th April is when Sanjay Dutt had to surrender, go back to prison. And of course, just 3 days before that, Sanjay Dutt has moved Supreme Court for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. There was a huge political divide as well. Of course, Justice Kazi had taken Sanjay Dutt's case, come under considerable flack by many, and of course a huge political divide also. There was the Shiv Sena, Mamata Banerjee, to various other political leaders who had pledged support to Sanjay Dutt, saying that he has reformed and he should be shown mercy. But the latest that we are breaking right now on headlines today is just 3 days to go before Sanjay Dutt goes back to bail, goes back to prison. He has moved the Supreme Court for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. Well, this after what you're seeing on your television screen was Sanjay Dutt, who had broken down in front of the entire media, said that he will not plead for mercy. He will complete his entire sentence, and had tried to put speculations to rest in this particular press conference. But it does seem as the day of going back to prison approaches, Sanjay Dutt has crumbled and now has moved the Supreme Court for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. Atir Khan is still with us. He's been tracking details of this case. Atir, can you get us the very latest on Sanjay Dutt now approaching the Supreme Court?
Well, what we know, Preeti, is that both he and Zaibunnisa have approached Supreme Court on similar grounds that their petition is now pending with the President, and time should be given to them to surrender. We know that the court in one of the recent judgments has observed that so the fact of that case, Buller's case, was slightly, in fact, completely different. But in this case, since the petition is pending with the President, it needs to be seen what view the Supreme Court is going to take when it is already decided on his, on his sentence, and also given him time to surrender.
Well, only 3 days to go, Atir. 18th April. 3 days to go before Sanjay Dutt had actually had to surrender, and now, of course, he's moving the Supreme Court asking for relief.
Well, that's right. Also, we know that some legal luminaries believe that that he could be given any sort of relief only after he surrenders. So it seems he's got some legal counsel which says that he should go to approach Supreme Court for relief before he surrenders. So this is completely given a new dimension to this case, going against the usual norms that one should surrender first and then seek relief.
What does it mean legally, Atir? How can it help Sanjay Dutt? What could be the outcome of this?
Well, Preeti, this is one of its kind case. It is very difficult to say what view the court is going to take. But since we know that the decision has already been given in this matter, and he's been asked to surrender, and this is a completely new light he's approached.
Atir, could more time be given at this point of time?
Well, Preeti, as I told you that normally what happens is whenever the court, and this being the apex court, has directed him to surrender, normally what the convicts do is that they surrender first and then go in for any appeal of relief. But in this case, the facts are completely changed. Now he's gone in for relief from the Supreme Court itself, which has given a judgment against him. Now he's on the ground saying that the clemency petition is with the Supreme Court, and he's already served a larger period of the sentence, and a court should give a lenient, take a lenient view on this issue.
All right, do stay on with us, Atir. Let's run our viewers through this latest bit of breaking news that we're getting in at this point of time. 3 days before Sanjay Dutt had to surrender, April 18th, he has approached the Supreme Court directly for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. Sanjay Dutt asking for more time to be given to him. Of course, a huge controversy was created on Sanjay Dutt, where even there was a political divide with certain political parties' leaders supporting, saying that Sanjay Dutt was now a reformed man and he should be shown mercy. Majid Memon on the phone line with us. Mr. Memon, can you, for the layman, exactly tell us what does it mean now that Sanjay Dutt has moved Supreme Court for relief?
What I am being told is that Sanjay Dutt has moved for further time to surrender. But I am not aware as to what grounds he has sought this time. You will tell me on what grounds he has, then I can comment on that.
But, this is the latest information that we have, Mr. Menon, of course, words still coming in on this bit of breaking news. But for the benefit of our viewers, is it legally possible for Sanjay Dutt to actually get more time after he was already given 1 month, sir?
No, see, Sanjay Dutt cannot be distinguished from others. Sanjay Dutt is like anybody else. Therefore, Sanjay Dutt is not entitled to any privileged position by virtue of being a celebrity. All that he will have to satisfy what is a genuine reason. For example, if any other convict from the same lot, who has also been ordered to surrender on the 18th November before, he or she may make an application to Supreme Court saying that, well, I am bedridden, I am too old, I cannot move, and doctors have advised me to take rest for 2 more weeks. On medical ground, probably the Supreme Court may extend it for some time. Otherwise, ordinarily, Supreme Court, having already given them 4 weeks time, may be reluctant to grant further time unless a strong case is made out.
You know, Mr. Menon, many people were actually also critical that an entire month was given to Mr. Dutt to surrender. So at this point of time, asking for more relief, how will that pan out?
No, it all depends upon what are the grounds on which he is asking. So that's the crux of the matter. You see, if there can be a flimsy ground, then it would be outright rejected. If there is a reasonable ground which can satisfy the court in the facts and circumstances of an individual case, probably the court may be inclined to grant that.
Menon, thank you there for joining us right here on Headlines today. We'll keep coming back to you for further updates. Of course, with the news that we are breaking at this point of time, Sanjay Dutt has moved the Supreme Court for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. In just a few minutes, we will be telling our viewers on what grounds that Sanjay Dutt has actually approached the Supreme Court for asking for more relief. He was already given a month's time. He was racing against time to finish his movie schedules, and now he has approached the Supreme Court for relief in 1993 Mumbai blast case. Let's cut across to our associate editor Atir Khan, who's on the phone line with us. Atir, elucidate for us on what grounds has Sanjay Dutt gone ahead and asked for relief?
Well, Preeti, it is a revolution of sorts that he's already moved a mercy petition with the president. You know, earlier what happened was that Justice Arju was going to appeal to the Maharashtra governor, saying that, you know, a lenient view should be taken in both the cases of Sanjay Dutt and Zaibunnisa, since they've already suffered a lot. But then one of the sections which had been attracted against them was Arms Act, and therefore could not be under the jurisdiction of the governor. Hence, the president was the option that they approach the president for clemency petition. So apparently now that he's moved Supreme Court on the grounds that their petition is now pending with the president, it gives a new dimension to the case altogether, given the fact that he was asked to surrender before the court, but he's taken legal counsel and he's decided first to move Supreme Court for relief in surrendering.
How much time has he asked for, Atir?
Well, Preeti, we are yet to see the detailed petition. What we know is that the councils have moved the petition on his behalf, and Zaibunnisa's case is also more or less similar. But we need to see on how much time he's asked for. The reason being given is that the petition is lying, mercy petition is lying with the president. So apparently it implies that until the time that the petition is decided by the president, he should be given more time. That is the implication, but we need to see the detailed petition which he has moved before the Supreme Court yet.
Well, already he has been given a month's time, and the latest news that we are breaking right now for our viewers is that Sanjay Dutt has moved the Supreme Court asking for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case, asking for more time before he could surrender. The grounds on which Sanjay Dutt has asked for further time before he can surrender, we are going to get those grounds for our viewers in just a short while for now. But initial information that's filtering in, we can confirm for our viewers that Sanjay Dutt has moved the Supreme Court asking that time be given to him for surrendering, where he has of course been convicted in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. April 18th, 3 days from now, was the actual date that Sanjay Dutt had to surrender. Let's cut across at this point of time to Janata Party President Subramaniam Swamy, who's on the phone line with us. Mr. Swamy, legally, is it possible? He's already been given 30 days time. He's asking for an extension.
I don't think that legally it should be possible. But you know, the Supreme Court always has a lot of discretionary powers. It's power to interpret the law in a way that it thinks is inconsistent with the constitutional principles. But I think it will set a very bad example that those who are highly placed, who are highly connected, for them going to jail is something at their leisure and pleasure. I think the Supreme Court should come hard on it, should be as tough as they have been in the question of those hangings that recently the Supreme Court has pronounced, saying that delay is no excuse for hanging. The same way they should say that once a sentence is passed, all the reviews, everything is over, they must serve the sentence. They gave him, I think, a 1 month grace period to wind up, and he himself went on in media and said in a tearful way that he will abide by the punishment and he will go through it. Now they are finding all kinds of excuses to get out of it. This is very wrong. It will devalue the cause of justice.
You know, Mr. Swami, of course, you're going to play that reaction where, of course, Sanjay Dutt broke down in front of the media saying that he will abide by the law and serve his sentence and will not appeal for mercy. But Mr. Swami, at this point of time, 30 days were given to this actor. A lot of people were very critical for this grace period being given. At this point of time, sir, is there any precedent that Sanjay Dutt can quote that more time has been given and so should he be accorded the same?
No, there won't be any example of such a. I think this is perhaps the first time such a person in public eye of this kind is making this plea. So it will be a precedent which will be a very unfortunate precedent, and I hope the Supreme Court doesn't set that precedent. Mr.
Swami, what kind of an example will it set? Because all eyes are on this particular case. Now, he is a celebrated actor who is convicted. He's been already given 30 days time. Giving him more time at this juncture, what kind of precedent will it set?
It will mean that some people are above the law, that all are not equal before the law. After all, if he was such a famous cinema actor, he should have stayed in cinema instead of venturing into something where he got a very light punishment. I must tell you that the CBI has much to answer that they didn't appeal against that judgment at the Dada court level. But it will just create cynicism about the judicial system that is only for rich people.
All right, Mr. Swami, we appreciate you joining us. Of course, that's a sentiment that would be echoed from various quarters across the country. Sanjay Dutt has already gotten 30 days of grace period. He's asking for more time. Under what grounds? We're going to be telling our viewers in a short while from now. But let's cut across to Mr. Hegre. He's a senior lawyer. He's on the phone line with us. Mr. Hegre, there has been no precedent. Legally, is it actually possible for Sanjay Dutt to get a further grace period than what he already has got?
Legally, it is certainly possible, but whether such a plea will at all be countenanced is another question. Because it is under the Supreme Court's orders that he's got 30 days. He is basically asking the Supreme Court, please give me some more time. He has left it indefinite. If he had said that, no, give me 1 more month, I need to complete this movie or do that shooting, that at least is a definite period of time, and the Supreme Court may have granted it, may not have granted it. But an indefinite plea saying that please grant me time till such time as my clemency application is considered, I do not think that the Supreme Court will entertain it.
Mr. Hegre, how strong would the grounds need to be for an extension?
Look, to a certain extent, it is a discretionary order of the Supreme Court as to how much time a person needs to put his affairs in order. Sometimes, immediately as soon as sentence is passed, Supreme Court says, please take the man into custody, or it directs him to surrender. Here, in all these cases, the Supreme Court has granted about a month to people to put their affairs in order and then serve out the rest of their sentence. When it has not made a deviation for anyone, now to make a deviation in the case of Sanjay Dutt or in any other case seems to be slightly unprecedented.
You know, Mr. Hegre, wouldn't it garner a fair bit of cynicism on the parts of the people of the country if more time is actually accorded to Sanjay Dutt?
Look, if the judiciary grants it, it is a judicial decision. It has to be respected as such. There have also been instances where the government of the day has given a reprieve to the accused in order to enable him to appeal to a superior court. The case in point is the 1960s case of Commander Nanavati, where the governor of that time had given him time to prefer an appeal to the Supreme Court and said that his sentence would not begin till that point of time.
But you know, Mr. Hegre, a lot of people would look at the cases very differently.
Look, the power is there in the Supreme Court, but whether that power will at all be exercised is another question. And the Supreme Court does not take into account popular sentiment. It will go by the letter of the law, and the reasons currently given do not seem to be strong enough to warrant any extension.
Mr. Hegre, we appreciate you, sir, for joining us and giving us perspective on this latest bit of breaking news that we are tracking for our viewers. Once again, Sanjay Dutt has moved the Supreme Court for relief in the 1993 Mumbai blast case. He's asked for further extension, a further grace period before he actually surrenders. April 18th was the due date that Sanjay Dutt had to surrender However, 3 days prior to that, he has gone ahead and applied relief, asking that more time be given to him. Let's cut across at this point of time. We are getting reactions thick and fast. Film director Mahesh Bhatt is on the phone line with us at this point of time. Mr. Bhatt, about a week or two back, Sanjay Dutt, in front of the full media glare, had come out, broken down, and said that I'm not looking for mercy. I will serve my entire sentence. And now, 3 days before he has to go to jail, he appeals before the Supreme Court, asking for the grace period to be further given a few more days there. Somewhere down the line, people will look at it with a lot of cynicism, sir.
No, I do not grudge them the right to be cynical about his motives, but the truth of the matter is this, that there is an industry which is dependent on him. There's a workforce, even though not all workers feel that he deserves a pardon or that he should be given a reprieve, but they all speak in one voice when it comes to the movies getting over. And if the movies that he is currently engaged with do not get over, the workers, and there's a huge workforce which will be directly impacted by his getting jailed. The producers have also made a fervent appeal to the President of India. And of course, they also appeal for pardon, but they also have asked for reprieve. Reprieve doesn't mean pardon, nor I don't think it is something unreasonable from our point of view. But if somebody is cynical about his motives, I cannot concede that they have a right to be cynical, particularly after he said that he's not asking for pardon.
But Mr. Bhatt, what makes him special? What makes him special? He might be a celebrated actor, sir, but why shouldn't he be treated as somebody else who's been convicted in similar circumstances? The country today is asking only one question: what's good for the gander is good for the geese. Why should Sanjay Dutt be special?
But Sanjay Dutt is not asking to be treated differently. You have to understand what I said. I said that the appeal is being made by the film industry also. And at the behest of the film industry, the film producers' body have also appealed to the President of India and requested that can he stay on to finish his work. And I don't think that's an unreasonable demand, since for no fault of theirs, they would be impacted by his imprisonment.
But Mr. Bhatt, there are so many convicts out there. Forget about, here there's an external film fraternity who's getting affected. But there are convicts whose immediate families get affected, sir. What about those people?
Well, madam, I think we have made an appeal. It is for the Supreme Court to reject outright his appeal. And we will gracefully concede. But surely, there is enough space for us to at least hope that there would be some leniency shown, and he should be maybe given some time so that he can finish his work. But if he is denied, then he, as you said, he would go in and face sentence gracefully.
Well, Mr. Bhatt, we do accept that it is within the film fraternity's legal rights and also Sanjay Dutt's legal rights to approach the Supreme Court for relief. What the court decides is, of course, left to the court for now. Mr. Bhatt, thank you for joining us. Mahesh Bhatt saying that it is not just Sanjay Dutt who is getting affected. It is entire film fraternity. There are many, many crores riding on the shoulders of Mr. Sanjay Dutt, and he's only asked for further time so that he could meet those deadlines, complete those projects there. However, there would be a lot of people who would be looking at this, that why should he be treated as a special case? There are many other people out there who have similar responsibilities, and why shouldn't that be accorded to them as well? Why should Mr. Dutt be treated as a special case? But let's try and put this all in perspective for our viewers. 2 weeks earlier, Sanjay Dutt, when the controversy was rife, whether the government should consider, whether the Supreme Court should consider a mercy petition where Sanjay Dutt is concerned, he had come down trying to lay the entire controversy to rest, breaking down and saying that he will serve his sentence. Of course, now he wants the grace period to be furthered, but let's listen in on what Sanjay Dutt said 2 weeks back when he broke down in front of the entire country. Listen in. All right, we're going to play that reaction. Our producers are culling out that reaction from our stock footage. We are going to be playing it for the benefit of our viewers in just a short while from now. But the latest bit of breaking news, 3 days before Sanjay Dutt had to go to jail, he's asked the Supreme Court for relief. He's asked that instead of 30 days, his grace period be furthered. He's not given a time frame. He hasn't asked for a week, a month or 2 months. He's asked for an indefinite time frame. He's left it to the wisdom of the court to decide whether his grace period should be furthered or not. We, of course, have been getting various points of views right now. One point of view strongly emerging is, why should Sanjay Dutt be treated as a special case? Wouldn't a certain sense of cynicism set in where the judiciary is concerned if his grace period has been furthered or he's been given more grace? Of course, the other point of view that we're getting in, which was echoed by filmmaker Mahesh Bhatt, who we just spoke to a short while back, who said that all Sanjay Dutt is asking for is that he be able to complete his various projects. There are multiple crores riding on his shoulder. It's not that only Mr. Dutt and his family is getting affected. The entire film fraternity will have to pay for this. Therefore, even the film fraternity has appealed that his grace period be furthered. He be given a little more relief than just 30 days so that he is able to finish some of his projects. But of course, the question comes, then why should only Sanjay Dutt be treated specially? There are so many other convicts who have similar responsibilities, maybe not something which is out in the public domain, but they also have pressing issues. If they can be treated with the same yardstick, why not Mr. Dutt himself? We're going to go across, play that reaction by Sanjay Dutt. Alright, we're going to get it in a short while from now, but Mr. Dutt had broken down in front of the entire country. These are the visuals of that impromptu press conference that he had called in front of the media stakeout outside his house, where he had come down in tears, said that he will serve his sentence. He's had a monkey on his back for a fair bit now, and he will go to jail as the Supreme Court has asked him to. However, he seems to have had a change of heart. He's asked for more time. He's asked for more than 30 days. Sanjay Dutt was given 30 days to wrap up his affairs, put his affairs in order, and then surrender. However, just 3 days before, 18th April, he has asked that the time frame be furthered as he has pressing commitments. What are the grounds on which he's asked for that? Let's cut across to my colleague Atir Khan, our associate editor, who's on the phone line with us, breaking this news on Headlines Today. Atir, talk us through this. We do know that Sanjay Dutt has not given a time frame. He's asked for an indefinite extension. However, what are the grounds that he's asked this extension of?
The grounds are pretty simple. He said that his mercy petition is pending with the president. So therefore, he should be given more time to surrender. So now this is a certain volte-face against what he had claimed in the press conference. He said that he would not ask for any reprieve anymore and he would surrender and abide by the court orders. But now it seems but a huge support, you know, pretty at the time when the sentence was given, there was this, there were voices that he's been given a lenient sentence, and also that he should not have been given time to surrender. But at the same time, he had huge support from the Mumbai film industry, which stood by him. Remember, Pradha, Jaya Bhatri, all these actors had given a statement in his favor. And given the background, he belongs to an illustrious family. Though he's had a checkered background, we know that now hoping against all hopes, he's moved the Supreme Court, hoping that he'd get some more reprieve on the grounds that his petition is lying with the president.
All right, stay on with us, Arthur. Big breaking news that we are getting in. 3 days before Sanjay Dutt had to surrender, he has asked that the grace period be furthered. He be given more time before he surrenders. He has to serve a time frame of 3.5 years. He's been given a time frame of 5 years, but he's already served 1.5 years. He has to serve the rest of his sentence, and just 3 days before he had to go and start his sentence, he has asked that the grace period be furthered. Multiple grounds that Sanjay Dutt has asked One is that his mercy petition is pending before the president, and secondly, of course, that crores of rupees is riding on his shoulders, and that it's not just him and his family that gets affected. The entire film fraternity stands to lose if he goes to prison on the 18th of April. But contrary to what Sanjay Dutt had said about 2 weeks ago, that Dutt earlier had broken down, said that he would not seek clemency in the matter, that he would abide by the court and go and serve his sentence when the time comes. Well, the time has come. 3 days are left, but Sanjay Dutt has asked for an extension. But let's listen in to that reaction by Mr. Dutt 2 weeks back.
I'm a law-abiding citizen of my country. I respect the law. I have the highest respect for the Honorable Supreme Court, and I have the highest respect of what the decision is, and I will abide to all the terms and conditions the Honorable Supreme Court has put on me, and I will surrender when the time is given. The Honorable Supreme Court has given me time to surrender, and I will surrender at that time. All I can tell you all is that I have not applied for any pardon. There are many other people who deserve pardon, and I just with folded hands want to tell the media, the honorable citizens of my country and the senior media people is that when I'm not going for a pardon, then there is no debate about it.
Well, he tried to put the debate to rest. However, he himself has raked the debate up once again, where 3 days before he had to surrender, he has asked that his grace period be furthered, that he be given more time before he actually surrenders there. Let's cut across at this point of time. We have legal opinion, political opinion. We also spoke to members of the film fraternity. So reactions are pouring in on this bit of breaking news that we are getting in. And on the phone line with us is Rahul Narvekar from the Shiv Sena. Mr. Narvekar, thank you for joining us right now. It's very important, sir, in what you say. Till now, your party has supported the mercy petition where Sanjay Dutt is concerned. But do you think Sanjay Dutt should be given more time? He's asked for more time. What is your take on him approaching the Supreme Court for further relief?
Well, the law as it stands today, normally the order is stayed or extended based on if there's a further provision for appeal. In the current case, I think there is no appeal, and there is no review petition that has been filed either. So technically, there is this order has reached its finality. That being the case, I don't know if there is any legal provision by which such such orders can be further stayed. Therefore, this is something which probably the courts will have to see. And number two, with regards to equality of law applicable to two citizens, I think that's a constitutional provision, and everyone is equal before the law and is subject to equal protection of the law. Therefore, if A is given this leave, B will also be given the same leave. Of course, it depends on the facts of extension, based on what grounds have they sought extension. So these are the issues and facts which the court will have to examine. And based on that, the court will arrive at a decision. But yes, per se, if both the facts in both the cases are the same, then I don't think separate or qualified treatment can be given to any one individual.
You know, Mr. Narvekar, when the entire issue of whether Sanjay Dutt should be shown mercy or not had come up, your party had staunchly supported Sanjay Dutt. At this point of time, sir, in principle, do you support that Sanjay Dutt, a man of his stature, after he publicly said that he will abide by the law, serve his sentence, should 3 days before ask for more extension? In principle.
See, in principle, of course, in principle, we'll also have to look at the grounds based on which he's asked for an extension. If he's made out sufficient grounds based on which he qualifies or he deserves an extension, then I don't think there is any point for anyone to oppose it. This is a call which the courts will have to take. So, we don't know what are the grounds on which he's asked for extension, whether there are health grounds or are there any other grounds. They're not very sure about those. So, it wouldn't be right to comment at this stage.
All right, Mr. Narvekar, we respect your point of view. Thank you there for joining us right now. Let's cut across political reactions pouring in. Meenakshi Lekhi from the BJP on the phone line with us. Ms. Lekhi, how do you read this? Publicly, on 28th of March, Sanjay Dutt had broken down in front of the nation and said that he will do absolutely nothing else. He wants to lay the whole controversy to rest and will serve his sentence. Today, 3 days before, he has gone ahead, approached the Supreme Court for relief.
I can only say it's between him and the court, whether court grants him extension or not, and whatever reasons, if any, has he listed, and the court will see on the merits that whether he is in what kind of difficulty, what all does he need to finish before going for the sentencing process. I mean, really, that's nothing personal in this, but it's between the court and the accused. Somebody who's been convicted of a crime like Arms Act and such things, and found with certain arms. In the first place, his sentence should not have been suspended. Now that it was suspended, he's going to be undertaking the same sentence now, and whether the court thinks it fit in the circumstances of the reasons listed out by him in his application will be determined by the court.
You know, Ms. Lekhi, there is a point of view that is coming out at this juncture that a certain amount of cynicism will set in, judicial cynicism, if Sanjay Dutt is given a further grace period.
I think that call only court can make, and before court has taken a decision one way or the other, I think it will be inappropriate on my part to speak about it, because I think court, in the fitness of the thing, can take a call one way or the other.
Well, Ms. Lekhi, we respect you talking to us at this point of time. Thank you for taking up the time. Let's once again cut across to the latest bit of breaking news that we are tracking at this point of time. April 18th was the day that Sanjay Dutt had to surrender. He'd been convicted for 5 years was his sentence. He had already served 1.5 years. He had to start serving the remainder of the 3.5 years starting 18th April. Now, 3 days before that, Sanjay Dutt today has moved the Supreme Court, asking for relief, asking that further grace period be accorded to him. Of course, reactions coming in. On what grounds has he actually done it? Once again, let's run our viewers through those particular grounds, and highlighting them is Atir Khan, our associate editor. He's on the phone line with us. Atir, we know Sanjay Dutt 3 days before has moved Supreme Court asking that the grace period be furthered. Now, quickly, for the benefit of our viewers who have just joined us, can you elucidate what are the grounds that Mr. Dutt has asked for further reprieve?
Well, Preeti, the grounds he and Zaibunnisa have put up that the clemency petition is lying with pending with the President of India, and also in case of Sanjay Dutt, there are slightly different grounds that he's also a film actor, and therefore a lot is at stake. A lot of lives of people are at stake because he's working and he's to complete his projects. So these are the grounds which have been given before the Supreme Court. Now the hearing will come up tomorrow sometime, Preeti, when we get to know what view the court takes.
All right, thank you there, Atir, for joining us. Let's once again run our viewers through the latest bit of breaking news that we are getting in at this point of time. Sanjay Dutt, 3 days before he was going to prison, has approached the Supreme Court for reprieve. He has asked, he has not given a time frame, indefinite time frame. He has left it to the wisdom of the courts, but he has gone ahead and asked that mercy be shown to him. He should be allotted a little more time before he surrenders. Let's get a legal opinion at this point of time. Joining us on the phone line is Justice R.S. Sodhi. He's a former High Court judge. I appreciate you taking out the time and talking to us on Headlines today. The question I ask, sir, is, will not a certain sense of cynicism where the judiciary is concerned set in with the common people if Mr. Dutt today is given that extra reprieve?
You know, I'm not very sure that the Supreme Court or any other court would carry on entertaining these applications. But you can't say the court has no power. It does have the power, but whether it entertains it or not is a question that would be seen. I, for one, would personally feel that entertaining such an application would be in bad taste and would not be appropriate.
All right, it will not be appropriate to entertain such an application. Has there been precedent, sir? You just heard the grounds on which Sanjay Dutt has actually asked for a further reprieve. Are these grounds strong enough for him to be given reprieve?
See, I can well imagine if such things keep on happening. Ground apart. I'm merely saying I'm an actor and the world depends upon me and things like that. I don't think they are relevant for the purpose of extending a prison sentence. After a prison sentence has got nothing to do with him being an actor. It was because he committed a particular crime, and he's got to undergo a particular sentence for that crime. Now, what kind of a give and take is this? That please give me more time. I'll come when I want. This is being a little nasty, isn't it? Rather than being generous to yourself.
Well, you're completely right, Mr. Sodhi. Thank you. Thank you, Justice Sodhi, for joining us on Headlines today. What you just said has been echoed by many people who are watching this news broadcast right now, sir. If you've done the crime, then it's time that you did the time as well, is what a lot of people are actually asking Sanjay Dutt. And that's what he had said in a press conference 2 weeks back on the 28th of March. But of course, 3 days before he had to walk in to the prison cell, he has asked for reprieve. He has asked for the grace period to be furthered. Of course, multiple diverse reactions coming in on this bit of breaking news. Let's listen in to what Mahesh Bhatt, film director from the film fraternity, of course, standing behind Sanjay Dutt, had to tell us.
No, I do not grudge them the right to be cynical about his motives, but the truth of the matter is this, that there is an industry which is dependent on him. There's a workforce, even though not all workers feel that he deserves a pardon or that he should be given a reprieve, but they all speak in one voice when it comes to the movies getting over. And if the movies that he is currently engaged with do not get over, the workers, and there's a huge workforce which will be directly impacted by his getting jailed.
All right, let's once again, for the benefit of our viewers, there's a certain amount of dichotomy which is emerging from what Sanjay Dutt had said on the 28th of March. And why so? First, we'll play out this comment by Sanjay Dutt on the 28th, where he said that he will serve his sentence when the time comes. Let's listen in.
I'm a law-abiding citizen of my country. I respect the law. I have the highest respect for the Honorable Supreme Court, and I have the highest respect of what the decision is, and I will abide to all the terms and conditions the Honorable Supreme Court has put on me, and I will surrender when the time is given. The Honorable Supreme Court has given me time to surrender, and I will surrender at that time. All I can tell you all is that I have not applied for any pardon. There are many other people who deserve pardon. And I just with folded hands want to tell the media, the honorable citizens of my country and the senior media people, is that when I'm not going for a pardon, then there is no debate about it.
And that's where the dichotomy kicks in. Sanjay Dutt had said, and I quote him, when the time comes, I will surrender. Well, the time has come. 3 days were left for him to surrender, and now he has applied for reprieve. Well, we'll keep getting reactions on that story. We'll keep getting you political reactions as well as from the film fraternity.